Game Woven is now proudly part of the One Shot Network. Check out other great podcasts at oneshotpodcast.com.
Previously on the Game Woven podcast, there was a flood once. It was vast, a cataclysm. There was nothing left. This is not the story of that flood. This is not the story of how it came to pass, or what it broke, or what came after. The river changed in ways that were of note to the people of Elicolum. A man understood that he was loved as keenly as he had loved, and wept starlight. A poet spilled some ink on a dead tree in hopes that her poetry would speak to others. When she tipped her inkwell over a nearby log, she learned to speak to the fairies. She was remembered for both her art and her accident. If you climbed the terrace hill on Twins Light Eve to look inside the prism there when the light from the setting sun and the light from the reflection on the water hit it just so, the prism would show you a place where you wanted to be. You could go there if you liked. But nobody had ever returned. Why would you return from where you wish you were, unless you wish to be where you already are?
Welcome, everyone, back to Game Woven. We loved Before the Flood so much that we're taking another swing at it in the exact same location. Travel with us to the Twins Cradle, the valley nestled between the mountain that is perpetually spewing water, which feeds the river that we refuse to name and will not at this point. It's been a year and a half. And the echoing plateau.
You gotta stop saying that. It just makes me want to name it more.
I know. That's part of the dramatic.
This is for you.
No.
And we're just going to kick off another round of Before the Flood. Land, will you place your stones? Land being played by Rob.
Okay, but land will you place your stones sounds like a great line for something.
It's very like Iron Chef.
Sorry. It's the idea of that coming up on like the credits for a TV show. They're like played by Rob. And it's just, that's it.
Land, will you place your stones?
Rob, you really moved those rocks like all the way over to the right-hand side.
Yeah, so I rolled a d24 to do some randomization, and I rolled a 24, and then a 13.
Well,
so
all right.
We are on the other side.
All the way to the east question
So
mark?
we're in the mid. We're in the
We're on
mid quadrant of the map.
The mid.
We're on the very east of the map.
So we are well east of the mountain, well east of the forest currently, well south of the plateau. This is untrod territory.
Oh, there's some bees in there.
Oh yeah, we got to get some bees.
No, we don't need.
You sure?
They're not endangered in the setting. I've decided.
So many bees.
I can actually roll to get that on the table.
Endangered bees.
Except it's not bees, it's hornets.
Oh, that's much worse.
Yeah. Rob, I believe we pass on to legend at this point. You have placed your stones. Is there another step that you take, or you just put your stones down?
Now I just start drawing.
Now Rob just starts drawing, so it's legend time.
And participates in the conversations.
Yeah. No, just stone.
Sorry, Rob, you gotta be here too.
So today, I grabbed the sequel book to the book I used last time. Fablehaven Book 2, Rise of the Evening Star. Let's go. Flipped a coin because I couldn't find a physical coin. Well, I could. I just didn't want to get up and get one. So I got a really over-engineered coin flipping app on my phone. Like, it's a lot. Anyway, I flipped the heads. Whomst is that again?
That would be Bree.
That is nature. Nature
Yay.
is head.
Let's go. 124, 125. Let's Coulter entered the room holding a walking stick. The top of the stick was forked and strung with an elastic strap that turned into a slingshot. You don't want to come where we're going today, he said.
Okay.
If that's nothing, I can read another one. If that's fully nothing, I just do another one.
It does kind of work with what I rolled because I moved up to the D10 table.
Okay.
I rolled a 7, which is a great and lonely king.
Ooh.
So I think a great lonely king has a staff that also doubles as like has a slingshot at the top of it. His walking stick has a slingshot.
He just loves slingshot. For like a sport of some kind, or is just like he loves just shooting his subjects?
I don't know, it feels like to me like these people all came together from other places. So I don't know if he's king here. But he's a king from somewhere else that came here. And so that is
It does force me to have to ask, does this make him a sniper king?
yes.
Cool. Just for, if there's any One Piece fans listening right now, that's for you. I did that for you.
I want to know more about the slingshot. Why?
I feel like he probably where he came from was like high up in the mountains, so they had to deal with a lot of aerial assault problems. Like most of the things that tried to eat them came from the sky. So they would use the slingshot. And maybe it's like something, it's part of their history. There could even be like a David and Goliath type story somewhere way back when. Probably depends on who you ask, because let's be real, there's no one single explanation that we have for anything.
That's true.
But I don't think he's in a ruling position here. I think he helps as a hunter, though. Like, he helps hunt and collect prey. He helps gather food.
So he was exiled or left wherever his kingdom was.
Yeah. And maybe sometimes he goes into the weird woods. Into the wandering woods. Or maybe that's somewhere he refuses to ever set foot.
If he chills in the funny magic woods, does he shoot acorns from the slingshot?
Yeah, what kind of ammo were we working with?
I'm gonna say, yeah, he shoots acorns. He uses acorns that he collects from the ground. And he never misses his target.
Or he is the sniper king?
Yes.
That's Chekhov's miss right there, because now there's got to be a story point in somebody's patchwork where he misses.
But he could never miss. He was born and raised on Sniper Island. Lulu la la Lou.
Why does he use acorns exclusively?
Clearly, when he fires the acorns, they instantly become trees.
He's got connection to nature. So
Yeah.
he could actually accomplish more with those than he could with traditional projectiles. A lot of people see this dude hobbling around with a stick that's got a sling at the top of it, like, oh, he's not threatening. Well, if he needs to be, boom.
And then he
Just
trees
shoots
you.
a hole. Yeah, just shoots an oak at your face.
Which has got to be one of the most horrific ways to die. You get hit in the thigh with an acorn, it embeds itself, and then instantly a 30-foot tall oak tree engulfs you.
That's
But it's
episode 2 of the Cowboy Bebop live action. That literally happens, and it's awful. It's horrible to witness. Like, oh, surprise, body horror. Like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I don't think that happens every time,
Only when they want it.
but if he needs to, he can.
Are we ready for wheel or whoa?
It's specifically wheel today on this one because you rolled
We
above
just
a
had-
4.
We just had 2 wheels in a row, though. Do we want to go back to woe?
Well, so it's up to nature. If you roll a 4 or higher, you may decide between inviting wheel or stepping up your die, If you invite wheel, you stay in the D10 table. If you step your die up to the D12 table, then woe gets to act. So it's up to Bree.
It can also be up to everyone if we feel like one person's been acting for long enough that
We could just have me stay at 10 and we invite Woe.
That makes sense.
And then it is time for woe.
Absolutely. I've done my poker hand, and I've pulled myself a pair of kings.
Fitting.
Yes, well, a mass hysteria spreads. The seams of society begin to show. This is not a mass hysteria in the town in the human town, in Valley Column. This king in absentia who's been staying in the town wanders down towards the wayward woods and meets upon something that he wants to shoot, and does so, launching one of his magic acorns, and a tree sprouts immediately. And this causes the fairies to go absolutely nuts. Trees are not supposed to grow like this. The colonies that they produce and the way that they organize their society around hollowing out and moving around these trees is like predicated on there being a limited number of these trees. And so suddenly now that we can get however many trees we want, it causes this existential panic among the fairies who live within the Whispering Woods, or the Whistling Woods. And that starts to spill out as there's occasionally more aggression against humans, or there's more outright communication. Things just get very strange down there for a while. And that is what happens.
We need to do a retroactive. Lex just called out in the chat that we missed a step between nature and legend, which is we did not. Legend and nature have to collaborate on where to place this landmark having to do with our lost lonely king.
Mm-hmm.
My thought is we have that patch of green, which could be like a grove he tends to, where he gets all his acorns, maybe.
Are we talking about the patch of green that's like the little lines, or is it the patch of green that looks like it's radioactive sludge?
The radioactive sludge green.
Okay. Yeah. That's where he gets his magic acorns, probably among other things. He's a druid. He's real big on the nature magic. Hasn't quite dug deep enough to start turning into Verdreen, but
We love a good artificer druid multi-class.
Ooh, I dig it. Well, and I'm kind of having a thought where this place is so fantastical and so strange. The place that we're describing right now could be so far in the past that it's not even in sort of the measured timeline that we're in. Some of this stuff could be like current knowledge or recent knowledge, and some of this stuff could be just like consigned to legend. There's a lot of there's so much interesting stuff going on in this patch of land that some of it might not be like, some of these might be tall tales.
True.
Because when I hear about the lost lonely king that wanders the woods with a staff that shoots magical acorns that grow trees, my first thought is that's a tall tale. That is a folk hero. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Paul Bunyan looking ass. Not Paul Bunyan. I meant Johnny Appleseed.
Yeah.
you have to make sure to respect nature and respect the trees, otherwise the king in green will teach you a lesson.
The king in
Green.
green.
We have our own green man now.
We do.
Green man.
2 questions about this grove. 1, what is it called? And 2, what is like distinct about it? Like, how could you tell? Is it indistinct from just any other grove, or is there something about it?
My brain says it's Tree Keeper's Grove, and what if only certain people are able to approach it. Otherwise, it's one of those like, if you start going towards it and it doesn't want you there, you just remember you forgot some. There's just like this very gentle, natural correction that guides people away. What do you think of that?
Only those who travel alone, like the king once did, may enter. You cannot enter with friends. You gotta go in alone.
And I think there is, just for one more distinct feature, like when you actually get there, you know you're at the Grove because the ground is not covered in grass, but a bright, almost bioluminescent moss that is like a bright, almost glow stick green.
With a very large oak tree in the dead center.
Oh, yeah. You gotta have a big fucking tree.
Yeah,
Hey!
yeah.
We checked one of the major world building boxes. We got a big, important tree.
Whoa, we did it! Yeah!
Yay!
Big important tree.
Biddly do do.
And no matter what time of year you
Big,
stumble upon this
important
tree, it's always in full
tree.
green leaf.
Outstanding.
So the Tree Keeper's Grove, is that the
Yeah.
name? You all good?
Dig it.
There's probably other names, but first popped in my brain and the vibes are good.
I like the vibe.
It's interesting how close he is to the Whistling Wood by the map.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that tracks for me.
He didn't want to start a war
I
with
think-
the fairies or whatever.
Yeah, he just accidentally did.
Oops. He overshot.
Point of order. I want to make sure I understand. So is Velicolum the name of the settlement or the people who live here?
The people and the settlement.
Got it.
Yeah, Velcolum is the people and it's the town.
That makes more sense because we have been using them interchangeably.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the people and the settlement are the Velicolum. This little region is the Twins' Cradle.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This is why we don't name things, because we're always like, fuck, what's that name again?
They try and make it make sense.
And yeah, a week goes by and we're like,
Rob, are you ready to throw your stone?
oh boy, am I!
That was very anime protag response.
Watch
Very
as I
much.
throw my stones. My grandfather taught me how to throw these stones.
Ah!
Tune in eventually for Game Woven, the anime episode.
So I just rolled a second 24 on a d24, but this time on the second one. So we're on the now direct south end of the map.
So we're in the southeast of the
go.
map or the south center?
South, mostly east. We've got an
Southeast.
1824, so. Oh, it's kind of like a little square almost. All right.
Oh my.
All right. So we've got some high elevation down in the far southeast and then lower elevation just to the east and south of the Whistling Woods, which I think that makes a lot of sense. Oh, legend.
Oh,
Arise.
I'm gonna flip a coin. Tails. Is that
Tails is nation.
Oh, shit.
Nation?
Tails is a fox with multiple tails. He can fly. He's really smart.
Oh, I need a prophecy so bad. Give me that ominous.
Oh, you want ominous?
If you get it. If you get something
Okay.
else that speaks to your heart, like I'm listening.
Three-
but, like,
355. The Revenant raised an arm and pointed a bony finger at Seth.
Jesus.
The shocking cold hit him as completely as if he had fallen into an icy lake. He gasped weakly and his muscles tightened.
yes.
At his core, there remained a warm, confident center, but it was being rapidly eroded.
delicious. Thank you.
As Rob is currently making a little eyeball in the bottom.
Got a little eyeball down there. That's fun.
Eyeball.
Able.
Eyeball.
All right, here we go. Time for me to play dice poker. Yahtzee, Yahtzee, Yahtzee,
Hardly know
Yahtzee,
her.
Yahtzee.
You got any fours, Dad?
Yeah, baby. Oh, a straight has to be all of them. Oh no.
Did you pull a small straight?
I pulled a small straight. which means I didn't get any.
You're pretty tall though.
Yeah, that's the problem.
If you invite woe, you get an extra die and you can roll it.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw another bone here. If I get a 6, then I have a full straight. But woe still gets to act,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what. So here we go. Come on, 6.
Did you roll
I got
that
a-
6?
I
Got
got
a
that
6.
6. I got that 6.
Nice.
Little fucking
Hey.
goblin
So
laugh.
I know, I have a goblin laugh. I got a moat. So if we're looking at the southeast corner, we've got high elevation to the far southeast corner. And then what looks like Rob has put in a volcanic, like, river of fire area.
Rob is just giving a shrug.
Is it a fucking lava moat?
Is it?
We are in some very mystical lands here.
This is pretty wild stuff is what I'm looking at here. So here's what I think. So it is over the top of a semi-active supervolcano, bit like Yellowstone. And so what we have is we have this long, it actually becomes a tributary into what becomes the river, but it is actually a canal dug by God knows who. Okay, no one knows who dug this canal. It's been there since the people settled in this land. But they dug a canal out of the hot springs and fed it into the river.
Okay. So it's a moat of like boiling water.
Yeah, it's literally a boiling water moat. And every so often, when there is quite a bit of like earthquake activity or the sulfur smell gets really strong, someone will go down there and check it, and every so often some literally like magma will be seeping out through the hot springs and getting into the canal area.
Okay.
I feel like whoever lives here does a really neat trade in obsidian.
Well, yeah, because when you expose the magma to water, it becomes obsidian, and then if you connect enough obsidian blocks, you can open a portal to the nether.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna go for a dwarf fortress reference if that's how they're forging.
Ooh,
everything.
that would have been good, but a little esoteric, but I'm with you. So that's what I think is going on. It's a hot spring that got carved into a canal. Now, there isn't a caldera. It's a flat valley area before you get into more mountains or more hills and mountains and stuff. But just like Yellowstone, it's not an actual caldera because it's over a supervolcano. The supervolcano is huge. And if it erupted, just like our supervolcano under Yellowstone, it would destroy the entire world instantly and kill everyone off.
Basically,
Fun.
if Proterra is anywhere within like 100-mile radius.
I mean, hey, maybe that's just like Proterra's bedroom down there. We don't know.
Careful,
Yeah.
her girlfriend's already been here.
Yeah, she's like asleep. That's
Yeah.
this is her vacation home. Like we don't know.
Maybe that's one taboo that even Proterra won't cross. Like,
Hmm.
if she starts getting dark thoughts about the supervolcano, then she knows that she's like about to go too far and needs to go count to 10 and take some deep breaths.
Uh-huh. So Ben, tell me about the Revenant though.
That's right. We have to talk about the Revenant. And what's really interesting is the icy cold bit. And I think that when the winter is especially cold, the hot spring canal will actually freeze over. Because we're up north, so it can get very, very cold. If it's cold enough and there's enough snow, it can actually temporarily freeze the hot spring. And people can cross it by foot. But there is a legend of the spirit of the volcano emerging during that time and walking up and down the canal. And if you get caught by it, because it's mad because its hot spring got frozen and that's upsetting to it. It will grab you and it will pull you down through into the volcano, and you will join the dead down there.
Is this more of a like Naiad Dryad situation where like Dryads are like, I'm the spirit of this one tree or whatever? Is this like the spirit of the volcano type? Like,
I think if it were the spirit of the volcano, this would be a waste of time for the spirit of a supervolcano. Like, that is
true.
a very powerful being. I think it's the spirit of the hot spring.
Mm.
Just the hot spring, right?
It's like a specific kind of naiad or whatever.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And you might even be able, like, while the hot spring is going, you might actually meet it, like, as a friendly guide or someone who's very familiar with the hot spring, because they're very proud of the hot spring. But
Mhm.
when it freezes over, it becomes this sort of Lich King-looking armored revenant, like a spirit of death, and it is considered a severely ill portent when it gets that cold, which
Mm.
makes sense because we're in an agrarian society. So, like, a really cold winter is a pretty bad portent.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just grabbing fuel for the volcano to try and crank up the heat.
True. Now, the other thought that I have is, like, this is a legend, but I like it when a legend has sort of like a little bit of a reason why the legend exists. And so part of it is because, yes, the hot spring can freeze over. Yes, you can take a chance walking over it on foot. You should not do that because it is unevenly frozen and you will fall through and die. So it's sort of like is there a revenant or are people just dumb? That's kind of the
Yeah.
big question related to this.
That's fair.
Yes,
The
answer is
temperature
yes.
change of if you fall in and somehow get out, that's gotta be.
Oh, you're
Oh,
so
yeah.
much shock.
Yeah.
Fuck you
You're going to
up.
go into shock even if you survive plunging
Yeah.
into the boiling water. Like, yeah.
Rough.
Plus, if you're close enough to the river, then the current underneath the ice would just pull you down there and bye.
Oh, no. Underneath the ice. Oh, that's a horrible
Off you go down the
death.
river.
Good news is you're deposited directly into the boy pit with all the other bodies.
I mean, unfortunately, this is downstream from the boy pit, but like,
Yeah.
good hustle, I guess.
You get deposited somewhere.
So first of all, I think a little something I'd like to throw on is I think the canal is made of obsidian. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I'm into it.
It's or at the very least, like it's mostly obsidian. Maybe not like smoothly such, but
People are pretty sure there's some kind of original material underneath, but kind of like almost like when you have hard water, it kind of just like grown over and
Yeah.
it's just like
Yeah.
you can
Oh,
like chip away
yeah.
at the obsidian if you want and find whatever the original building.
I like that a
material is.
lot.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that. It'd be creepier if the water was like particularly clear too. So it's just like
Ooh.
a pitch black pit.
You
know?
That glitters when the light's hitting it the right way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Man, I imagine those hot springs aren't good for you with chunks of obsidian in there, but I don't know anything about the effects of obsidian on the skin. I couldn't tell you.
It would be a
People
bit like
chase
walking on
sulfur at
glass.
hot springs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, obsidian is one of its key properties. It is that it's pretty much always sharp.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's why obsidian knives are so cool.
However you break obsidian, it will be sharp and cut.
Yep.
The name of this place, I kind of want it to be named after someone, like someone that they credit as having built the original canal.
I was thinking of naming the spirit.
Okay. We could. Yeah.
It isn't one-to-one Persephone, obviously, but it does remind me of the story of Persephone.
Okay.
So we could just name it Persephone if we wanted to, but
We could just mess with Persephone as
Yeah.
well. Like we could call it like Persaris or
Persipine.
what?
Giuseppe, like that kind of thing.
Giuseppe.
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 Sorry, I
Giuseppe.
can't. I
Oh,
cannot
no.
find it in me to be afraid of Giuseppe. That's just somebody's Italian grandpa.
Watch out for the hot spring of spirit.
Do you have a name in mind now that we've thrown out two serious
No.
options and
Um,
8 jokes?
I mean, Persephone has another name, Core. Just Kore.
Core is pretty cool.
We could call it Core or Core. I don't know if you pronounce the E.
I like the core. I think core is a little too badass. Like core softens it just a tiny bit. And then so for the canal, I think we need to come up with another name, something kind of antiquated sounding.
Well, it could just be like the Korean Canal or something.
You could also just name either the point at the hot spring, like the start of the canal, or where it meets the river, right? Like those feel like the two key points as well.
I feel like they would name the canal because it was built.
So the thing to remember is humans are often really bad with names, so it would probably just be something like the Obsidian Canal. Let's be real.
Yeah, I mean, they probably call it like the Hot Canal, the Black Canal. Like they probably call it, but I think it does have an old name that would be of interest to historians. And I'm going kind of like old ancient Greek. The name that's bubbling up is like Encarlios.
It's my buddy Carlos.
If you were to translate it, it would say the canal built by Encarlios the engineer, but they just call it, like scholars call it the Encarlios Canal. And they're dicks about it. So if you're talking about the canal with a scholar and you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to head down to the Black Canal, they'll be like, it's the Encarlios Canal.
Shut the fuck up.
Anyway, we've been putter. All right, I think we landed on that. I need another ill portent.
Listeners, if this 10 of cups that I'm looking at was a 10 of swords instead, that would have been a straight flush.
Woo.
The prompt for a straight flush is insane. Maybe we'll get there. Probably not. Anyways, I have a straight here. Another straight.
On this show?
I know. We gotta get it up in here.
Start of Game Oven?
Oh, remember when y'all didn't think your pronouns were they, them? Remember
That's
that?
some G in there.
We got some gendered ones kicking around.
We got some gender in here.
It's not completely they, but it is almost oops all they.
Yeah.
A straight with faces. A martyr is forgotten. Causes are abandoned. Yeah, and so I'm going to tell a little story about the Kore. About Kore, the spirit who's here. This is, as one might be able to piece together, an exceptionally whimsical place. Long, long ago, there was a group of travelers from elsewhere, and as they were serious or forgetful or sad, there was one amongst them who I believe you could say was more whimsical than the rest. And that's welcome, to have people come through who have that sense of whimsy. And when I tell you that they loved this place and how strange and wonderful it was, you're just going to have to take my word for it, because it's been lost to time. There was, as there often is, something on the heels of the travelers as they passed through the cradle of the twins. One of these travelers left behind something that was very precious to them. We gift now as the Kore. And the Kore stayed behind and covered their retreat and turned back the foe, and then settled into the earth itself in order to keep the valley safe. And many who were in the valley at the time dedicated themselves to the cause of holding back the horrors that live in the rest of the world. But time moves on. The rivers and the baptisms wash us clean. And now we have hot springs and a fancy canal. And nobody quite remembers why they stay here, even on the nights when it gets so cold that you could walk across the hot springs. And sometimes when somebody tries to leave on a night like that, the Kore is there to remind them. And that's the story of the forgotten martyr and the abandoned cause.
Nice. I like how when we get to the Wheel and Woe, we also get a little bit more like deeper legend.
Yeah.
A deeper lore about this place, which is already a very strange and whimsical place. So this is just like,
yeah,
full of weird stuff.
My kind of place.
This has been one of the joys of this arc, because like Tarsig was so steampunk, and Nairburn is so kind of like trad fantasy magical city, and then there's Dalutharia, which was like bad and cursed.
Which is very like Disc 4 Final Dungeon.
Yeah. Now we're here. doing the Eyes of the Dragon compared to the rest of the Dark Tower series. That's a reference for nobody. God. That one's for me.
Then it's not for nobody.
For like a not very large percentage of this world, this is like the source of life. This is the start of capital P, the river.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the river, I came up with an idea for why it has no name.
Okay.
The Fae took the name from the mouth of the river.
I like that.
That's yeah.
Good.
You've got
God.
fairy
Go on.
woods right by the mouth, and it's like the mouth of the river is whispering its name, and they took it. It's like, you gave me your name. Thank you. It's mine.
Other theory, the river, the first thing it washed away was its own name.
Mm.
Oh,
Its first
that's
memory.
pretty cool.
Probably depends on who you ask, but the one thing everyone can agree on is if it had a name, it doesn't anymore. But it still has power.
I think the
Yeah.
fish ate it. We just got to eat the right fish.
That is a very old fish in there.
There could be a legend that the person who named the river died, and the name of the river washed down the river with the person that named it. And if you find the fish that knows the river's name, then you can tell everybody. There might be something attached to that.
What if that fish already reached the ocean?
Yeah.
You have been listening to Game Woven. This week we played Before the Flood, a game of utopic creation for 6 players, written by Nicholas Ambrose and Sylvan Lawrence. We got an early copy of the game, which we very much appreciate. If you like what we're doing, please feel free to leave us a review or go support us on Patreon. We are also proud members of the One Shot Podcast Network, so you should go check out their Patreon too. Today's episode featured Brian and Jean, TT Benjamin, Zacchaeus Green, Robbie Rowling, Lex Olden, and as was foretold, aka